while I'm in here doing maintenance, I'm going to go ahead and pull these injectors and have them cleaned. I haven't done that since I've been running the car, and I'd like to do it so I don't run into a problem while I'm at a race or testing or whatever. So let's do that. The injectors are out and in a Ziploc bag with some WD-40 sprayed on them so they don't rust. They are stainless, but just precautionary stuff, you know. I also threw some old injectors that were laying around in here and buttoned everything up to keep any moisture from collecting in there. Good practice. Oh, all right. Fuel filter out for inspection. We'll take a look at that. It's never been out. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. Check it more often than me.
And unscrew the bottom.
Yeah, I see that. Alright, let's get this thing cleaned up. Put it back in. Back in there all safe and sound. Next on the list is to pull the transmission, which I've become very good at. But this one's not going back in this time. This transmission is going to come out, and I'm prepping a 2G transmission, a 2G DSM transmission, front wheel drive, again, automatic, to go in. I've spoken about it before. The 2G transmission gives me more converter options, and I've ordered a Precision Industries billet converter to try in this thing, and I'm really hoping to see some big improvements, especially in trap speed from that. So I better get started. So I'm getting ready to pull this transmission out, and I'm taking the torque converter bolts out right now. I got a little story to tell you. I had this bottle of Loctite. It was kind of an off-brand or something. Had it for years. I've used it for so many things. It's worked pretty well. It was like a clear red color, you know, high strength Loctite. Well, I ran out, you know, which is what happens after you get an automatic transmission and you have to do these converter bolts all the time. You go through it pretty quick. So I bought a new bottle of Loctite high temp. I'll put it in the video in a second here, but that Loctite high temp stuff, man, not only are these hard to crack loose, but even after you crack them, every turn is like really hard to get this bolt out of here, right? So that's going to help keep those bolts in. You know, a lot of people have trouble with converter bolts coming loose. I haven't on that other stuff, but I can tell you this stuff works better. And it cleans off the bolt better. See if we can get that to focus. Yeah, probably not, so we'll just, trust me, they're cleaner. Usually I have to use a wire wheel to clean them off. Check this out. With all the converter bolts out, the converter is still fused to the flex plate with Loctite. That stuff works pretty good.
Looks like it's got like a huge barrel of fuel, like a huge barrel.
There he comes. Look at him. He's like, I'm getting there first.
I think she is pregnant. She looks huge.
Look at this guy, dude.
Come here, come here. Come on, go. Get her down here.
All right, everything's all loosened up and disconnected from the transmission. And I got my chain on here, on my little loop there. You can see right in there where I hooked that up. And I'm about to get the hoist in here and drop this thing down. Usually, this is the point where you just wiggle the transmission around a little bit It comes off the engine, you lower the hoist down, transmission's out. I got something going on here. It seems like the converter is stuck to the flex plate. So when you try to take the transmission off, the converter stays behind and the transmission will never come out that way. So I'm gonna sleep on it, ask around a bit, see if I can find anyone that had this problem and find a way to overcome it. Be back. That converter is really stuck. I may damage the flex plate or even the converter, but this is the only way I can get this thing off at this point. In order to be able to get a pry bar underneath this flex plate, I'm gonna have to push the transmission off the block. The converter is gonna stay against the flex plate. I don't really want that, but that's the situation. Once I push the transmission away, that gives me room to get in behind this flex plate and do some prying. And I got Tony. He's on the top side, gonna pry from that side while I pry from the bottom. This is where we're at right now. I got pry bars and pickle forks up in there. That flex plate's definitely ruined. It's bent pretty bad. The converter's starting to wiggle around a little bit, but it still turns when I turn the crankshaft, so it's definitely still stuck in there pretty good. We'll just keep fighting it.
Put cheese on it.